Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome. My name's Randy and I love everything crochet, and if you love everything crochet, you should definitely hang around and subscribe. Follow my Instagram because I do a lot of crochet there and here. So to get started, today we'll be doing something a little bit different. We'll be making a little tomato cushion slash pillow slash plush. I just deformed it a little bit. It is like a good size for if you want this to be like a pillow or a plush. But yeah, it's just a little tomato. You can add a face to it. This is definitely one of those projects where I'm leaving it up to you guys. I'm giving you kind of like a baseline. You can change the leaves, you can change the stem, you can add a face, you could add legs and arms if you wanted to. This is really a blank canvas one. But yeah, as always, I forget to say I used single crochet the entire time. That was the stitch I used. My cat is attacking my coat. But yes, so that is the crochet stitch I use. I will also put down below the yarn I use, the size hook I use, all the materials I use down below in the description. But yeah, let me not talk too long. Let's go ahead and get started. To start our tomato pillow, you will need your yarn. I'm personally using this, I think it's called Keche, whatever, fluffy. I buy this off Amazon. This is just in the color red. I bought this for a Valentine's Day project and then I got promoted at work. I work more now. I was like adjusting to my new schedule. Did not have time to do Valentine's, so we're gonna do something else I wanted to do, which is a tomato pillow. For this, I'm going to use a 6mm hook. This does not have this recommends like a 4 to 5mm, which is definitely, in my opinion, too tight. And I like using smaller hooks than recommended. Also gonna need a yarn needle, some scissors, stitch marker. You'll also need some green for the stem and leaves, but that's not down here right now. So we'll go ahead and get started. And of course some kind of stuffing. Now you'll want to start with your magic ring. So if you're someone who is good at the actual magic ring, you can go ahead and do that now. Or if you're someone like me who really struggles with the magic ring, I like to do 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, go into my first stitch, which I know you're not going to be able to see anything with how fluffy this yarn is. Go into my first stitch, pull my yarn through to make a circle, which, like I said, you cannot see. You will have a center hole here, and that's where we'll be working into. And we're going to do 6 stitches into the center here. So we'll do 1, I think it's 6, it might be 8, we'll see. I'm gonna mark my first stitch, and we'll go back into that center hole for 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, so we'll do 8, 6, 7, and 8 for our first round. We're also using single crochet for this entire project, so forgot to say that right from the jump, but we'll go into our first stitch for our second round here. We'll mark that stitch and then we're going to go back into that same spot. So we'll put 2 stitches into one, and then we'll go into the next and go back into that one, putting 2 stitches into one. I will use that phrase throughout this video when we're increasing, just to save time so I don't have to film a full clip every time, but we'll go once, then a second time, putting 2 stitches into every stitch. So basically you're doubling the amount of stitches you have, and this will lead to having 16 stitches in this round. Now for our next round, I will go ahead and remove my stitch marker real quick. And we'll go into my first stitch. Then I will mark it again. And then we'll put 2 stitches into our first, so I will go back into that same one and then a single stitch. So those are, when I say a single stitch, I just mean 1 stitch in the stitch. When I say 2 stitches, I mean going back in for a second time, and then a single stitch, and then 2 stitches into one, then a single stitch, and we will repeat this pattern all the way around. For the next round, you're going to put 2 stitches into the first, then 2 single stitches, then 2 stitches into the next, then 2 single stitches, repeating all the way around. For the next round, we're going to put 2 stitches into the first, then 2, 3 single stitches, then 2 stitches into the next, then 2, 3 single stitches, repeating the pattern all the way around. The next round, we'll put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single, repeating all the way around. For this next round, we will put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, repeating all the way around. The next round, we'll do 2 stitches into the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single, repeating all the way around. For the next round, I'll put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 7 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round, you put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 2 stitches in the next, then 8 single stitches, repeating all the way around. 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 2 stitches in the next, then 9 single stitches, repeating all the way around. 2 stitches into the first, then 10 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 10 single, repeating all the way around. For this next round, we'll put 2 stitches in the first, then 11 single stitches, then 2 stitches into the next, then 11 single stitches, repeating all the way around. 2 stitches into the first, then 12 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 12 single stitches, repeating all the way around. Now after the last round, we're just going to put a single stitch in every stitch, repeating all the way around for a certain amount of rows, which I will tell you here in a minute. Okay, so I did 10 rounds of staying the same, and I'm almost out of my first skein of yarn. I always like to include when I switch over so people get a good idea of how much yarn they'll need. These have 98 yards, and I'll probably use about 1.5. So there's that. But I did 10 rows of staying the same, and I'm now going to start reducing. So to start reducing, I'm going to go into my first stitch, pull a loop through, go into my second stitch, pull a loop through, and create 1 stitch. So I will use the term reduce 2 stitches into 1, and that's what I mean. And then we're going to do 10 single stitches, because we're basically going to do the opposite of what we expanded. I think I went up to 11, but we're just going to do 10. So I did my 10 single stitches, then I'm going to go into the next stitch, then into the next. So I'm into 2 separate stitches, pull through, creating 1, and then 10 single, reduce 2 into 1, 10 single, repeating all the way around. The next round, we're going to reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 9 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 9 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round, we'll reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 8 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 8 single, repeating all the way around. Next round, you're going to reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 7 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 7 single stitches, repeating all the way around. For the next round, reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 6 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 6 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round, reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 5 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 5 single, repeating all the way around. For the next round, reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 4 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 4 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round we'll reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 3 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 3 single, repeating all the way around. The next round we're going to reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 2 single stitches, then reduce 2 into 1, then 2 single, repeating all the way around. And then we're going to stuff this. Now at this point, if you want to add a face to yours, this is a great point. I am personally not going to add a face. I thought about it. I think it would be really cute to just have a very simple smile and 2 eyes, so that's completely optional. Up to you. I personally, this time, am not. Mine is just going to be a plain. Next, we are going to reduce 2 stitches into 1 all the way around. For every stitch, or every 2 stitches are going to be reduced into 1. All the way around, and then we're going to pull this closed. Once you're done with that round, you are going to want to seal your tomato. I guess the main part of your tomato. Just cut my nails, so it's going to be hard to get this through here. All right, there we go. And I like to leave my stitch marker so I know where I start, and I just go back and forth through all the top stitches all the way around so I can have a nice tight sealed top. And normally once I seal it, I like to kind of like weave through a couple of times so I make sure it's nice and tightly, always leaving a loop at the end that I can weave the rest of the way through to get a nice completed piece. And now we have kind of our tomato here, and we just have the leaves and our stem to do. All right, so for this, you can kind of be a little creative and do the leaves however you want. This is how I'm personally going to be doing the leaves. I'm going to do 4, so 2 will touch here, and then 2 will be on the sides of them. And I'm not gonna do them like perfectly equal all the way around. I am just gonna kind of do the same general idea. I'm using, this is Little Bunny by Premier Yarns. It is, I think, in the color key lime, maybe, if you're curious. But I'm going to do a starting chain of 10. And then I'm going to skip my first stitch, go into my second stitch, and I'm doing single crochet over like so. Now I'm personally making one side flat, and then one side's gonna kind of have like a slightly curved look to it. So you're gonna go all the way to the end, and then you're gonna flip your work, and we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then, oh, I must have only done 9, but that's okay. So you'll get to the end, and then you'll do an extra stitch, or as I did, an extra stitch into the end, and then I did another single stitch off the end, and then I go into the first and go all the way across with a single stitch. Like I said, this isn't like a perfect tutorial on this part because this is just kind of like a generalized idea of what I'm doing. I always encourage, be creative, because I don't think this is the best way to make the leaves. I think you could definitely do them way nicer. But you know, this is what we're working with. So since this side I want flat, I'm gonna keep it flat. And then I'm going to go, this one I'm gonna round off a little bit more than my last one, because I felt like my last one was a little too squared at the end. So I'm like 2 stitches away, so I'm going to weave into the next one, so reduce 2 stitches into 1, then flip, skip a stitch, go all the way across. As you can see, my second one ended up shorter than my first one. My first one's going to be one of the long ones. I'm going to, like I said, do kind of like this situation, so kind of do the leaves however your heart pleases. You can kind of follow the general guide I did, or you can do them completely different. But, ooh, sorry. I am keeping a long enough tail because I am just going to stitch them at the top and leave these part like this loosey-goosey. But yes, so that's what I'm doing. I'm making 4 in total. You could totally do it where, actually, you know what? I might just do 3. I might do a third one and do it this way because I kind of like that better. We'll see. We shall see how it looks. I might do 4, I might do 3. I haven't decided because if I do kind of like a bigger one here, I think that would look good too. For the stem, I did a starting chain of 8 stitches. Then I did 4 rows of 7 stitches, and I'm just going to cut my yarn, put it, and then stitch down. And if you didn't understand what I meant, I'm just going to like weave this back and forth, folding it in half. So I have a stem that has a little bit more structure to it and will hopefully not like just like flop over as easily. I got tangled somehow. And I did make this one bigger because I decided I'm only going to do 3, and I'm basically going to stitch them all on the top and add my stem. And then once everything is assembled, you have a tomato pillow / plushie all done. If you make this project, you should definitely send me a picture on Instagram. I'd love to see yours, especially if you switch it up and make it a little bit different. But yeah, this is the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!